You know, everything I do in class I record, and I'm going to start a new thing this year where I post all the classes on the calendar. So, for instance, here's our computer hardware class, and here's the calendar. If you go to the 20th and click on the class, there'll be the embedded YouTube video of, and right now it's just the tablet vacation because I wanted to make sure it would work, so I had to test it. So you don't have to go and watch it, but if you miss class, I'm still going to teach classes if you're here, and I expect you to make up the class. Okay. Now, obviously, if I record an 80-minute class, there's not going to be 80-minute stuff in there, so I would expect you to go fast forward to the next time. I try to remember to pause, but I frequently forget to pause when I'm doing that. Just close the PowerPoint. Let's see what down. I did close my PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so this is computer hardware, and I already said I'm Mr. Poole. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My Mimeo pen I gave to somebody else, so I can't touch the board like I normally do. I grew up in Washington Courthouse, Ohio, until I was in 6th grade. Then I moved to 20 South School District. I lived off of Lexington Road, or Wysong Road, if anybody knows that part of the county. That's where I grew up at until I went to college, and I currently live in Eaton, Ohio. I have 4 sons. These are really old pictures. So, you know, I've actually been married 23 years, so I last updated this 2 years ago. So pictures are actually older than that. My oldest is sophomore in college. My next one's a junior in high school. My next one's an 8th grader. My next one's a 1st grader. So, and I have all boys. I went to college at Duke University for freshman and sophomore year and majored in computer science and electrical engineering. And then I transferred to Miami University where I got my Bachelor of Science in Systems Analysis, which is computer science. And then I got my master's degree in international relations from South Virginia University in Newport, Rhode Island. I did that, people always know why in the world would you do that, international relations, because I was flying all over the world and had no idea anything about the culture where I was. So it was really a study of international culture for me more than, because there was a bunch of elective stuff, and that's what I did. So I continued classes through UD, Wright State, Ashland University, and that's where I've got most of my education classes at to do my changeover to what I do now here. As far as computers, I used to program for Dayton Power and Light. In fact, that's how I paid most of my way through college. They have a programming division, and they have summer interns. And when you're in college, which I'm going to say you're both all going to go to college whether you like it or not, okay? So when you're in college, interns are the best thing you can ever do for yourself this summer. Working for McDonald's during the summer to make money is fine, but it won't get you a job when you graduate with a degree. When I graduated from college, I had 8 job offers because I worked for DP&L, and I had all these program things that I had done and projects that I had worked on, and my peers that had worked in bars or worked at McDonald's and stuff had nothing to talk about in their deal with computer science. So summer internships are the way to go. I worked for a year as a programmer for NCR until I got activated during Desert Shield, and that's when I went to pilot training. As far as my computer experience in the Air Force, I was a network administrator for 6 years and a computer maintenance guy for 8 years, and I did independent contracting after that and have continued to do that as well. Currently Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force Reserves. I got activated back in 1990 for Desert Shield. I was a flight instructor for 4 years.
Pardon the interruption. At this time, can we please have all juniors please report to the lecture hall? All juniors please report to the lecture hall at this time. Thank you.
I'm in Do Not Disturb right now, and I'm hitting that because you'll see in this class that I get called a lot. In fact, we get interrupted all the time. If I'm not interrupting myself because I'm ADD, then somebody else is interrupting me. So very rarely do I remember to do that, by the way. When people call, they're not supposed to call about student VCs. Only supposed to call about teacher VCs. Student VCs are supposed to put in a work order system, and then we get to those and fix those in due time. So as I flew T-37s, which is that white jet in the middle picture, for 4 years as an instructor. And then I flew special operations, which is the big, huge helicopter on the left and I guess on both ends, for 4 years in special ops. And then I flew for United Airlines for a couple years. And then also flew the big gray one, the C-141, for a few years, and now I work, and I'll be gone probably 16, 17 days of the school year. I probably will be gone for your class probably 10 times during the school year from our reserve job at Right Path that I've got right now. Oh, I forgot that picture. So that's a T-37. I flew in the right seat of that, and the student was in the left seat for 4 years. It was a really, really fun jet to fly. And then went on to special operations where I flew special ops helicopters in a number of conflicts, and that was really fun to fly. I honestly would have stayed in special ops and in the Air Force had it not been for my assignment that I avoided. They tried to send me to Korea for a year and a half. The month my third son was done, actually the week he was due, and I couldn't leave my family for a year and a half when my wife was expecting. They said they'd push it back by a week so I could be able for birth. I didn't leave for that. So then I flew C-141s out of Wright Pat, which was a lot of fun. I actually took the first group of Al-Qaeda detainees after 9/11. That's the guys in the little one jumpsuits right there, to Guantanamo Bay, and that's our crew that did that. That was the first worst guys. And I did fly for United. I actually still work for United. 2,500 pilots got furloughed after 9/11. Which means laid off, and you're on their employee list still to get recalled back. I've actually been recalled twice. You have 3 recalls that I've passed on. I just don't know if I want to go back to that. It's just being gone too much, and 4 kids just didn't work out the way. So who am I though? And that this is kind of a who am I and who do I want you to be? I'm like, what are they doing? They don't want to go. So this is kind of my motivational speech to you guys on doing stuff right. Okay? Now, I will say you wouldn't be in this class. Mr. Wyndham hadn't signed off for you to be in this class, so hopefully you already do make good decisions. Okay? So, and I want to talk a little bit about life as work and the meaning of life to me and what gives life meaning and where I am and why are we here. Okay? So, in a day-to-day environment, you have tons of choices to make. You know, do I graduate? Do I do my homework? What do I do after I graduate? Where am I going? And my oldest son hasn't really decided what he's going to college, but he hasn't decided what he wants to do in life. And you don't have to decide what you're going to do in life right now, but you have to go make the right decisions so that you have the right openings and the right doors so that when you decide that I want to go and be a neurosurgeon, that you can. You can't decide that from the back of the dumpster. Okay? You have to decide that along the way and make the right decisions. Okay? So, we all have basic necessities that have to meet, and you don't have to be a neurosurgeon. I have a neurosurgeon appointment on it. Actually, my name is said that's why I mentioned neurosurgeon. But anyways, so we all have jobs that we have to do. We all have to fill our basic needs, and we all have to go to work. Somebody's going to work. Maybe you're going to marry a nice rich doctor and she's going to take care of you and you're going to be a stay-at-home dad, but that's a minority of people. So either we work, we go on welfare, and how do we contribute to society is kind of important to me. Many young people are disengaged and disconnected and not interested today and are unable to see relevance in their life. Okay? We're all relevant. Every single one of us has a reason to be here. You may not have found your reason yet, but you have a reason. It's out there. You just gotta find it. Okay? So really on a day-to-day, so the problem with that is that you kind of wander through life. If you don't find your reason, if you never know why I'm here, if you don't find what you're good at, and your reason is connected to that. What you're good at is what you should probably do. Okay? You're gonna find things that you are not good at, that you may like, that you struggle to do, and you may never be happy with that. Because if you struggle your whole life with something that you're like, I really want to, okay, I went to college to be an electrical engineer. I'm not an electrical engineer. You didn't notice that, okay? So I went to, when I was at Duke, I was an electrical engineer. I really wanted to be an electrical engineer. And it sucked for me. It's really hard. I'm like, I've never struggled so hard in a class that I really wanted to do well in. And by the end of my sophomore year, I'm like, all my computer science classes, I don't even try in and I get A's. There are kids next to me, they're like, oh my God, did you get the homework done? I'm like, yeah, like 15 minutes. It was like really easy. And I'm like, And then electrical engineering, I'm like, I worked for 4 hours and had one problem, I didn't even get it done. Right, and then the guy next to me is like, oh, it was really easy. Okay, so I was like, okay, maybe electrical engineering isn't my calling. Maybe that just sounded cool to me. Maybe I need to rethink this. Okay, so I'm not saying to pick the easy path, but I'm saying there's something that you're good at and that you'll enjoy. You need to find that. Okay. If you're always struggling, it's going to lead to unhappiness if you're wandering through life. And everybody knows someone who works just to pay the bills, who works to support the family, but hates going to work. Okay? You don't want to spend your life hating going to work. That would really stink. I worked one summer at West Vaco, which isn't there anymore. It's called something else now. I hated that job. I got paid a lot. It was awesome. I was in the union. I'm going in there every day. Every day. I sat there doing the same thing. I can still do this. Muscle memory. Sitting here, this is raising the boxes up, and all I'm doing is go like this all day long. All day long. I'm folding the box, putting it in the stapler. Folding the box, putting it in the stapler. Raising up the thing, that's all I'm doing for 8 hours. Occasionally, I walk to the other side, and I roll it down to the end of the conveyor, and then it would take it away. And I walk over here, and I push the new pallet up here, and then I start going like this, and I fold my box up in the stapler. Okay, I did not enjoy that. Now somebody did. Some guys like doing that. Some guys didn't bother them. Monotony didn't affect them at all, and they didn't mind that work at all. I hated it. I had tons of money at the end of that summer because I had no life because I worked second shift, and all my friends were running around all summer long having fun together, and I got off work at 11. If I was lucky, because usually they had us work overtime, I get off at 2 in the morning, and all my friends are in bed, and I'm wide awake. I'm sleeping when they're doing it. Anyway, so you don't want to hate going to what your job is because it's really hard to come home and be happy if you're unhappy for 8 to 10 hours of every day. You want to find something that you really like to do in life, okay? So to me, you're going to get meaning out of your work, and this is not, I'm accepting those things, I put the little things there. So there's substantial and consistent relationship between meaning in life and psychological well-being. In other words, if you find meaning in life, you'll be a happier person, okay? And your meaning might be your work, might be your family. By the way, I have a couple of mosquitoes in here. Don't know where they're coming from. It was just zooming around your head. So if at some point you swap a mosquito and kill it, that's perfectly fine. It won't bother me at all. I don't know why they're in here. I mean, how deep in the school can we be? It's not my sink, it's dry. So. Okay, so why is it significant and important to find meaning in life? Because it makes you happy, it makes you healthy, it makes everything better for you. And there's going to be a connection here. Okay. So, Earth is a big place. There's millions and billions of people on the Earth, and if you didn't know that we are a minority you didn't know there's North America. We're only 8% of the population. Right there. Okay, but we have, this is last year's data, we have 314 million people in the United States. That doesn't mean you're insignificant, okay? It just means that you need to find your place, okay? So, are you going to necessarily change the course of the Earth? No, probably not. You could, I guess. You become Dr. Evil and plant the bomb. Okay, so, anyway, but that doesn't mean we're not a relevant part of society. Everybody's a cog in the wheel, and we all affect each other every single day. And I'm kind of getting back to what we do. This is a roundabout way of getting back. So everything we do helps everybody else. And I implore you in your social life to be nice to everybody, even if you don't like him. Be pleasant to him. You have no idea what's going on in his life. Maybe you do if you're good friends. See, there we go. That one's dead. And now it's mashed all over. One mosquito. It's dead. Wash my hand off. By the way, I have sink and stuff back here, so if you see me disappear, that's... And there's no soap, but there is a sink. In this class, we frequently get very dirty because when we open up PCs, sometimes they're just... You'll see they're just totally a mess inside. And if you want to wash your hands before you go on to another class, please feel free to. And that's part of my ADD. I just jumped around. Okay, so I really want you guys to think during your life of where you belong, where you want to go in your life. But along with that, I think one of the most important things is that while we do have our day-to-day life, that we do the best at everything we can, okay? Everything you do, in fact, I don't know if that's the next slide. Oh, I'm not saying join the Peace Corps, I can say Peace Corps. Okay? What I'm saying is that somebody's going to work, we need to find a fulfilling spot in our life, and we have to give ourselves a chance. Oh, and I got some pay stuff up here on why you should go to college, because I frequently have kids who go, oh, we're going to college. Okay, so now this is old data. This is 2011 data. But a high school graduate, that's the average weekly pay, versus a bachelor's degree, which is what I'm talking about, is almost double. And it's triple if you get to your PhD, although I don't have my PhD, and I'm not saying you need to get your PhD. I'm just saying that just getting your bachelor's degree makes a huge difference in what you can do in life. Now, I'm not saying that means that's what's going to make you happy. It's just going to open more doors to you to do more things and make more decisions and go more places. And it's not about money. Money has nothing to do with happiness. And in fact, research shows that money over $85,000 a year just has no correlation to happiness. So you want to shoot for that number, apparently. Okay? So as soon as you're making that, you don't get any happier by making more money. I don't know. That's what research says. It's not my number. Okay? Why? I don't know. Maybe you start getting unhappy because you're worried about money when you make over that. I don't know. Anyway, so research says that that's the number. Less than that, then you're too stressed about money, I guess, or it becomes too much of a thing for you. But anyways, I just thought I'd throw that number out. Oh, future's already started. Dean Fujimura told me that. Tom Fujimura is my guidance counselor in high school. That's why I'm here right now, as a matter of fact. Him and Dr. Darrell Beach. When I went to high school, Dean Fujimura and Dr. Beach made a huge impact on me. In fact, Tom Fujimura paid for, I think, half of my college apps because he was unhappy with where I was applying. And he was like, no, you won't like that school. You need to go. You guys do things different here now than we did when I was a kid, especially where I went to school. But we didn't go out and visit colleges. Our guidance counselors, at least mine did, he knew us really well. And he went out and visited colleges in the summertime to find out what the campuses were like, what the students were like, that kind of stuff. And Dean Fujimura were like, you'd really like to. You need to apply to Duke. I don't know if I want to. I said, no, you were going to apply to Duke. And so I applied to Duke, and I went down on a college tour. I was supposed to go to Auburn, which I applied to, and what's the one in New Orleans? Tulane and Duke and Vanderbilt on a trip, and I went to Duke. It was the first one geographically, and when we were done visiting, because we went and visited after we got accepted. Because it was kind of that thought back then was, why would you visit before you got accepted? Because, what, then it's just a tease, right? Oh, you really like this school too, and you get accepted. So anyways, when I saw Duke, I loved Duke, and I fell in love with it, and that's where I thought I was going to graduate from. That's a whole different story. Anyway, so he used to say your future's already started. In fact, he said that every day when we had a guidance thing. He said that too. You're already traveling down a path. The question is, did you choose it or is it get chosen for you? You need to make sure you choose your path and you make the right decisions in life. Because every day, everything you do affects you and what you do. Now that's, okay, so in school you make your own choices. Hopefully you're signing up for your own classes. Hopefully mom and dad aren't deciding everything. Hopefully some of those choices are the ones you want. Hopefully you decided to be here, not somebody else decided to send you here, okay? And you're going to decide where you're going to go the rest of your life. So, daily choices. Did you do your homework? Did you take advantage of what your teachers offered you? If you are having trouble in the class, if you're having trouble in this class, you don't come during intervention, you made that choice. Okay? Now I may make you come occasionally in intervention. You still haven't made up that test and we took it 2 months ago. And you're probably going to fail it now, by the way, if you wait 2 months after I'm talking material. So I wouldn't do that. Okay? But my point is, take advantage of the time that you have. Did you get a good night's sleep? If you go, and I had a student 2 years ago. His dad and him would skip the day of school when the new Halo came out, and then wait all night, and then his dad would stay up all night playing Halo, and then drag himself into school. Well, if you have a test the next day, that's a bad choice, right? Sleep matters. Get good sleep. Don't stay up till midnight or 2 in the morning. Did you eat breakfast? You should have eaten breakfast. Actually, I had banana on the way, so I guess I did eat breakfast, shouldn't I? And then you need to realize that every decision you make affects not only today, it affects tomorrow, can affect everybody else in the room around you, okay? And are you making the choices that are going to make tomorrow better? Okay, are we back to my class? Okay, so we're not around the corner yet, So think about you, think about what you want to do, think about where you want to be 10 years from now, and realize that those things that you do affect where you are, and I implore you to find your meaning. So let's get on to my class, which I'm hoping I came back around. Oh, success like happiness cannot be pursued unless the pursuit is the only thing that unintended side effects will make you happy with yourself, and your health will be better if you're satisfied with your life. Okay, so you may not see what your decisions do, but someday you will. Everything you do will pay off in the end, and let's talk about my class. Are we there yet? Okay, so, man, I added too many slides when I did this last year. So everything you do affects what people see about you, and that connects to what they see about this class and what we do. This class is not inside this room. Our class is half the time outside this room. And what you do will be seen by teachers all over the school district. Okay, and that will reflect on you, and it will reflect on me. They'll call me, they'll say he did a great job. Okay, I got her name. Okay, CJ, Tom. Is it Tom or Thomas?
I don't care. Which,
You do care. You have a choice.
I don't care which one.
Yeah, but which choice? What do you want to be called?
Whichever one
Mr.
you
Hill.
want to call me.
Okay, so realize that everything we do says something about who we are, and I take that very personally in this class. Okay. That you guys represent me. When you guys do a good job, I do a good job. When you guys do a bad job, I do a bad job. And I hear about it, by the way. Don't think that when we go out and set up computers in the elementary school, no one's ever going to call and say, hey, your guys did a great job this year. Or, can you come back and fix my computers because they really left a mess. I hate to hear that. Okay. You guys are going to be setting up a lot of stuff. So, okay. So every moment, every day has an impact on where we're going and what we're doing. Okay, so you're going to hear this, or you're going to think this. This pool's too picky. I'm not too picky. I'm just right. I am picky. Okay, so is this really important? These are questions that students have asked me before. They've said I'm picky. They've asked if things are really important. Why am I redoing this again? Okay, so if a teacher calls me and says, hey, my computers look like poo, can you come fix them? I'm probably going to say, no, Mr. Will be right back. Okay? And you don't want to go back to a room again. It's embarrassing. Especially the third or fourth time you're in there. Okay? It's embarrassing. You don't want to come back the third or fourth time. Okay? And I've heard this before. I didn't learn anything in this class. Which is hilarious because this student who said that actually, got an A on her final exam and fixed her PC. And I'm like, did you know how to fix a PC at the beginning of class? No. So you learned nothing? Well, I learned how to fix a PC. And I'm like, well, hey, that's what class is about. Okay, so anyway. So expectation in this class. I expect nothing less than your best. I would like everybody in my class to get an A. I would like all 100s on everything. And I mean that. I'm not saying that because I want you to try really hard and hopefully you get a C. I actually want you to get an A in this class. I want everybody to get an A in this class, okay? We go out there every day, and the whole district depends on what we do. Okay, you guys are going to hook up every PC in the elementary school. You too are going to hook up every PC in the elementary school. Okay, every single one. Second block is going to hook up every PC in the middle school. Okay, fourth block is going to hook up every PC in the high school. Okay, in summertime, what the maintenance does is they go and they yank everything, they pull it all in the hallway, the cleanup order is really nice. Our maintenance does an awesome job. You look at other schools and how their school looks at the end of the year, you would be like, wow, our school always looks good at the beginning of the school year. However, when they're done, they put it all back in the room and they set it down and they walk away, and they're all sitting there in piles and nothing's reconnected. And guess who gets reconnected? Okay? So we're going to be working our way around the entire elementary school. Now, the instruction side of this class is going to go faster this year because there's only 2 of you. Okay? However, what are you doing?
Plug it in the light would work.
Is there a teacher computer?
Yeah.
What kind of device does she need?
She just needs
No. Keyboard, mouse.
her keyboard works now. I stole one of these off of another computer.
Okay, don't steal that off another computer. I'll give you a new USB keyboard and put her brand new USB keyboard in. Instead of that, you put that back to the student computer. Okay? And when I say brand new, we're going to give her brand new, still in the box, beautiful USB keyboard. Well, let's just come on air first. Are we sure it's not working? Okay, but give her a brand new USB keyboard and then plug her mouse and put the adapter back to the student's box. It might take a second for it to come out. Okay, so that's normal. Anyway, so So some stuff's going to take longer. Usually we have 4 or 5 pairs of students going through, and so we're getting 5 rooms done at a time. So it's going to go 5 times slower this year on hookup. Anyway, so the district depends on us. You guys are going to learn things, and then we're going to go do stuff. The whole class is like that. We're going to go through the memory section. We're going to learn all about memory, and then I'm going to give you CDs, and you're going to go and test every stick of memory in the elementary school. And second block is going to test every stick of memory in the middle school. And the fourth block is going to test every stick of memory in the high school. Okay? Because if we find things, there's 2 reasons. Number one, when you're done with that, you will know how to test memory. There'll be no question when you leave this room after testing 40, 50 PCs that you know how to test memory. If you go home and can't test your memory at home, you've got a lobotomy on the bus or something. I mean, there's no way you won't remember. So when we do hard drives, you guys will test every single hard drive in the school. By doing that, we do a couple things. Number one, you guys learn how to do it really well. But more importantly, or connected to that, is that if we find a bad hard drive before the hard drive goes bad, because the test may say it's bad and they may not even know it, right? So we replace the hard drive and they don't even know that it was even ever running. So we try to do those things too. So the district depends on us personally to do all kinds of stuff. This class, you're not going to do as much hands-on as the follow-on tech class. The follow-on tech class comes in, logs straight into the work order system like what Mr. Green is doing right now, and they'll just see that something doesn't work and they'll just go fix it and they sign off that I fixed whatever and I did whatever. Okay. So, and we'll get to that point in the 4th quarter that you guys will be doing stuff like that. Up until then, we're going to do very specific stuff. We're going to test memory when we're remembering. We're going to test hard drives when we're hard drives. So it's more directed right now, but as we go, we do more and more. So it's like a job and I grade it as such. What does that mean? If you took your car to a mechanic and said, hey, I need my brakes checked, and he said your brakes are bad, or replace them, and you drove away, you ran into a tree because your brakes didn't work, that'd be bad. Okay? You don't get a 75% as a brake guy, right? He gets 100%. Either they work or they don't. There's no 75. Oh, well, I guess the right brake worked, the left brake didn't, and you careered off the side of the embankment. Okay? So, in a job, you don't do things halfway. You do them all the way. Okay? In many classes, you may be like, I didn't read the whole chapter, I just read part of it. Okay? And you may get away with that because you got your 75%, right? Oh, I got my, what's that, a C or a D? I don't know. I got my D. I'm passing, you know? Woohoo! Okay, but we don't do that in here because when we go out to hook up PCs, you can't halfway hook up a PC, you have to all the way hook up a PC. Okay? And when we hook up PCs, we're not going to talk about that today, but that's going to be the next class, and the class after that, we're going to be out of here, like for the next week and a half. Okay? Walking around classrooms, setting up everything. So we're going to talk about it next class, and the class after that, we're going to start doing it. Next class is Thursday. Yes, okay, and then the following class is Tuesday, and we're going to be doing it. Okay, so it's very much like a job. When we go and do stuff, we want to do it right the first time. Okay, now right now I'm going to mess right here. But if this was a student setup, we would want it to look nice and clean, and all the cables away, and you can't touch hardly anything if a student system is set up right. And I'll come back, and somebody will set them up, and there'll be cables everywhere. I'm like, hey, you have to redo that. And you'll say, but they work. Okay, and I'll say, well, that doesn't count. We don't do it just to work. We do it to be clean and nice. And have you guys been to 213? The new computer lab, 213? You seen that? Okay, well, when you go there, you look how nice those cables are. Those are nice. They're all put away. They're very hard to screw with. Why? Because there's always somebody who wants to mess with them. Okay? Or sticks their feet up and they hang them on the cable, and it's like all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. Well, really, it's an internet cable. Okay, so we want to try to do a really nice job when we're going out there setting stuff up. I want 100% on the project stuff. We go and set up stuff. I do grade you later, just so you know. It's not like I don't go through that room and ever look. And you get grades from the teachers. If they call me and say, my computers don't work, and Mr. Hill was just here, and he said they worked, and he left, and they don't. Okay, that's a grade. It'll go in the grade book. Mr. Hill, kapow. Okay, what are you picking on me for?
How am I getting picked on by you?
Okay. Assignments are optional, they're an integral part of this class. When I'm gone on reserve days, and I time these very specifically, okay, so we're going to be working up to memory, and then we get to the memory section, and then I will give you a research assignment, and then I will be gone. You'll do the research assignment with a substitute here. Now, you have to understand that number one, those aren't optional. You can't get away without doing it. I got a good enough grade, Mr. Cole. this isn't going to affect me that much. You know what, you're still going to do it. Just so you know. You know what happens if you don't do my assignments? You do my assignments in detention. Nobody wants to do my assignment in detention. And you keep doing it in detention until you get at least a C on a research project. Now, you can get away with a D if you do it the right time. You don't do it on time, you're going to do it to at least a C level. That's sucky. C level sucky. I don't want you to do it to C. Okay. But I've had students like, I don't like talking in front of people. First of all, there's only 3 of us here, so you're only talking in front of 2 people. So if you have a problem with doing a PowerPoint at this point, it's just 2 of us. One of us can turn around and there'll be like 1 person, okay? So we do research assignments, and you're like, oh, Mr. Poole, you weren't even here to answer any questions. And just so you know, if I was sitting over here while you're doing a research project, I wouldn't answer your question anyway. It's a research project, and I'm not a source, okay? So if I say, hey, I'll give you an example. All of our research projects are kind of business-based. So the first project that you do is to find 3 motherboards that you're trying to sell our company. So you'll be presenting, and we'll be sitting over here, we're the chairman and vice president of the board, okay? And you're trying to sell us, you're from Intel, and you're trying to sell us 3 different Intel motherboards, okay? One for home, one for business, and one for gamer use, okay? So you're gonna tell us about those. Now, am I, sitting over there while you're doing the research on this, going to be able to know everything about every Intel motherboard? No, I'm not. So what is it going to do for you to ask me? I'm going to say, Google it. That's what I'm going to say. So when you have a question for me, just answer yourself and say, Google it, okay? So while you're doing research, I don't know what this is. You can just tell them for me, Google it, okay? You guys are going to have different companies. So you're going to have MSI and you're going to have ASUS, so you're not going to be able to help each other out because you're doing MSI motherboards, it's a different company. And then you're doing ASUS and it's a different company. So you might be able to help them. Oh, I found out what the front side bus speed on this motherboard was by looking right here on the specs on the ASUS site. Oh crap, they don't have that on the MSI side. I need to find somewhere else. You don't know what I'm talking about. But if you did, my point is, I'm not going to answer those questions anyway. When we do research, the point is for you guys to learn how to find information, not for me to tell you, okay? So, most of the research projects, almost all the research projects, are while I'm at the reserves. So you are doing something that is important, the presentation is important, they all build on each other. So the first one you get is going to be on motherboards. And the second one's going to be on CPUs that go in that motherboard. And the third one's going to be on memory that goes with that CPU that goes in that motherboard. And the next one's going to be on hard drive that has to work with that motherboard. So if you screw up the first project, it really stinks for the whole rest of it. So you really want to, the first one, you want to make decent so that you have something to build on. But every single one of the projects, the whole year, builds on the very first project. Okay? You'll be referring back to those 3 motherboards every single project as we go through all the parts of the PC. Because basically the way this class works is we're going to work from the motherboard out and learn about all the different parts of the PC. When you're done with the class, and I'm on a different slide altogether right now than where I should be, but anyways, when you're done with the class, the idea is that you would be able to repair a PC or build a brand new PC on your own, okay? Saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your life, and you can send me checks later. Okay, so they're not optional. I do have a retake policy on every single summative. What's that mean? I did really crappy on the hard drive tests, and I do have tests, by the way. It's not just projects, okay? We also do tests. So I did really crappy on the hard drive tests, Mr. Poole. What do I do? Okay, so here's my thing. You have to come in 3 interventions not in a row. You have to come in for 3 interventions and study. You're not even talking. You're just over there studying. You're reading the textbook. You're going through your notes, whatever. Okay, you're watching old classes, whatever studies works best for you. You can't ask questions. It's not like I want to ask questions. Okay, I don't understand how I figured out the wattage of the power supply with this motherboard and this hard drive and this amount of memory. I got that wrong every single time. Mr. Poole. Okay, let's go through it. So you have to do 3 interventions where you review, and then I will give you a verbal assessment. In other words, I'm going to ask you some questions here. I got this computer right here. Go to that motherboard. I want you to figure out the power supply, minimum wattage for that. And you have to show me that you know how to do it before you retake the test. Okay? So every test, every summative item you can redo in my class. Because I think, to me, the point of the grade is, did you know the material? Not, did you know the material on Tuesday? Okay? So if you mess up, I would like you to improve your grade and to learn the material. Which is really the point. I want you to learn the material. I would like you to have a good grade, but that's not the overriding factor. I want you to understand it. So that stuff's all posted on Moodle. I'll show you where that is too. Okay, I think I'm very fair. I think I'm very accessible. I am too fast sometimes. I know that. I'm really fast. I'm going, ready to go. I gotta go. Okay, so if I'm too fast, that's why I record everything and I put it on YouTube and I link it on Moodle so you can go, I have no idea what he said. Do you know what he said? I don't know what he said. And you can go back and go to Moodle and go, right there, what did he say? Rewind. I got it, I know what he said, okay? So, if I'm too fast, number one, there's only 2 of us, 3 of us, count me, and the mosquitoes, that's 5. So, you can tell me to repeat that, but you also have access to the videos, and that's why there's little sign that says record dummy, record the lesson, okay? That's a reminder for me. Especially if one of you guys is absent, please remind me, hey, before you forgot to record. Tell me, although I might be like halfway through the lesson, I'll get it next period, and I'll post next period. I don't post both blocks. Okay, but I go on the same stuff. So don't feel like you can't slow me down. Oh, I didn't get that wrong. Okay, so don't feel like you can't stop me and slow me down. I am ADD, I am ADHD, I pop around all the time, and I get sidetracked. Some of you will call, I'll be in the middle of something, and I'll come back over here and go, what are we talking about? Okay, so somebody has to keep track. Now, the other thing is, notebooks. You should have a notebook. Not that I expect you to take notes right now. But all my tests are open notes. They are not open internet, and they are not open book. Can you transcribe the entire book into your notebook? Yes, you can. Okay? Can you copy the test in your notebook with a photocopier? No, it must be written in your handwriting. Okay? Because that's the point, is that you wrote it, because that helps you remember things. So, take notes, or take them later. I mean, if you're somebody who I can't take and listen at the same time, I'm going to re-listen tonight to the dulcet tones of Mr. Poole talking in class, and you want to take notes, I don't care. Okay, however you want to do it. But if you have no notes and we sit down at that Chapter 3 test and you have nothing to refer to, ouch, it's going to be hard. Okay, so everybody is bad on Chapter 3. Okay, so. Other stuff. Anytime we're outside of room 203, we represent this class and this program. That's important to me. We've gotten to the point where you guys can walk around and you can go, you're going through the library and they're like, oh, who are you? And like, I'm one of Mr. Poole's aides. And they'll go, okay, and you walk on through because the rest of the staff trusts our program and the fact that we're doing good stuff and we're not there for no reason. Don't ever say you're one of my aides or you're working for me when you're not. We had a long string of ISDs done last year, but last year or the year before? It was last year. By 3 students that were walking through the library that said they were going for Mr. Poole. They had nothing to do with my class. They were my students. They were not going over there as anything to do with my class. And they went and found them and then they got ISD for 3 days. Okay, so let's not do that. If you're working for me, say you're working for me, I'm going over to the elementary school for Mr. Poole. Okay, but we don't want to lose the privileges, and I think there are privileges. You guys are out a lot in this class. We don't want to lose that by not being good, okay? So we want to keep those earned freedoms. How we do that, we do not look or disturb other classes. When we're walking down the hallway, we do not look in windows. That maybe your best friend that you just noticed as you walked by, and please if the door's open, okay? So we don't do this, okay? Okay? No looking in the classes, no faces, no none of that stuff. Okay? We don't disturb other classes when we're walking around. We don't make noise in the hallways. We're going from here to there quietly. Okay? Because other teachers might have the door open, they're doing something, we don't want to disturb them. Okay? So, what?
That's your whole class.
That's my whole class. Okay, we don't divert to other locations. So when I say you guys need to go to 503, okay, that doesn't mean I should find you playing basketball. Okay, I have access to all the videos, cameras, because I'm the tech coordinator. So I've had to do that before. I found a student in the gym playing basketball. I'm like, really? We're all waiting here. We all went and did one room, we all came back, and I'm like, I want to get on with the lesson. We didn't have 80 minutes worth of stuff outside the room. We had like 15, and I had a lesson to do. Now I have to go through all the cameras to find them. Don't divert. Now, when I say that, if I'm sending you to 503, and you're walking by a bathroom door, and you have to go, that is not diverting. The bathroom's on your way. I'm walking by it, that's not diverting. If I send you down here and you're like, I really gotta go, and you're walking right by the bathroom, that is not diverting. If you're going to Mr. Sanderson's room, and I find you down there in that bathroom over there in the middle of the hallway because, Mr. Poole, that was more private, I want to go there. That is diverting, okay? You have to be walking by the bathroom for it to not be diverting. That doesn't mean you can't ask, Mr. Poole, I really need to go to the bathroom, and it's one of those, I'd like to go down there, okay? And I might say, okay, I'll give you a pass. Say, we don't divert to other locations, okay? We always come back here when our task is done. This is home base. Unless I say, we're meeting in the library. Because I might take a parts cart to the library, and we might do stuff, and that might be home base where you come back to get memory or whatever. Otherwise, back here as soon as you're done, okay? Along with that, I thought I had it on there. We have a little sign-out sheet right here. It says Mr. Poole's sign-out sheet. You put your name, what class period it is, where you're going to, what the date, time out, time in. Even if I told you to go there. If I say go to 503 and do this, we still want you to sign out. Why? Because 5 minutes later, somebody's going to go, and call up, oh crap. I always forget to do attendance. Really, I really do. So, in first block, please remind me to do attendance because it's not even as easy as it used to be to sign in to attendance. And I'm really bad. I'm sure Beth Michael's probably trying to call me, and it's like, why are you not attendance? Teacher, attendance. See, because I'm an administrator, I don't even I see everybody's. Please remind me, where is the PowerPoint going on the bottom? It just went away. I did not close PowerPoint. Why is it doing that to me? Oh, you gotta be kidding. Oh, because it's a show. You can't close a show. It's not a PowerPoint. It's not a show. That's why it keeps going away from me. Dang. Okay, so where was I? I mean, not on the slide. What was I just talking about?
Signing out.
Okay, you gotta sign out because if they call and say, where's Mr. Hill, I will have forgotten. See, I already forgot where I was. Because I'll tell you to go 503 and do something because somebody called or something, and then they'll go, yeah, we need to talk to Mr. Hill, his mom's down here. And I'll be like, I sent him somewhere. So make sure you write down. Unless we're all going together, in which case we don't need to sign out. We're all gonna go down to the elementary school together when we're doing the elementary school machines. So we don't need to sign out to the elementary school. Okay, but it's when I send you to a specific room, hey, go here, do that, that's when you need to make sure that you sign out. Okay, and that includes the bathroom. If you say, hey, can I go to the bathroom, you sign up for the bathroom. Okay, just so I remember where you were. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of slides. I'm almost there. So if somebody watch this video and you're like, what is going on? Okay. We talked about that. I need to not have this as a show because that is ridiculous. Okay, ready? We're on the next slide. Okay, so daily challenges. We maintain the district. We're going to set up every PC, and there's more than 600 PCs. There's about 700 PCs now. Okay, in our district, we maintain every PC. When I say we, I mean the program as a whole. I am the only tech coordinator in this county that teaches, and I keep teaching because I wouldn't be able to maintain everything that we do without you guys being part of the team. See, kill it, don't just wave at it, smash it.
Okay.
Okay, so we maintain all the PCs. There are lots of things that we identify. There's teacher work orders that get put in. We do projects where we check all the hardware, and I mentioned that, we check all the memory. We do software installations in here. We place new PCs, and we have our own projects. I've got 20-some PCs back there that we just got from the Air Force. If you don't know, all of our computers come from the Air Force. Every single one that we've ever gotten. This beautiful new Core 2 Duo right here came from the Air Force. We're going to do a whole new laptop cart. Now, I've had to buy the cart, but all Core 2 Duos with 2 to 4 gig of RAM. Really nice. They're still in warranty, for goodness sake, and they turned them in. Okay? So all of our PCs come from the Air Force, and a lot of times what we do in this class is projects, once we have other things done, is we'll go through those machines and we'll refurb them, and that's how you learn about how to check the memory or how to do the hard drives, and we'll remake them and then we'll go and place them out in the district. Now, realistically, in this class, a lot of times we're learning new stuff and then we're placing systems that the advanced tech kids put together. But as we get further on, particularly in the fourth quarter, there's a chance that we'll be building some of our own. We have occasionally gotten money to build brand new PCs, in which case we do it in this class from scratch, and we've gotten parts boxes, but it depends on whether we get the money from that or we get them from anywhere. So I already kind of talked about this. We have an unobtrusive support policy. In other words, we want to disturb hardly anyone when we go. Many times you're unescorted, but we're always going in pairs when we go someplace, and since there's only two of you, you'll be spending a lot of time together when we do that. My trust is implied. If I send you out to 503, I'm trusting that you're going to go to 503, and you're going to do what we want you to do in 503. I get continual teacher feedback on stuff, and I always say, I want you to be NTLS ninjas. Okay, we sneak in, we sneak out. They just saw the damage that we did. You know, that's it. Okay, so we want to be silent and deadly. Anyway, so you know what I mean. So we really don't want to get complaints about stuff. Now, I'll give you some things that I've had students before that really got complained about that just didn't handle it right, but it wasn't through their own thing. Okay, so they go to an elementary school classroom and it's their little nephew. And the little nephew's, you know, in second grade. Hey, 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 hey. You know what we need to do, if you've got a little nephew or a little niece or something that's trying to get our attention, just do one of these. Okay? We're not allowed to talk to them, we don't interact with them, we're in somebody else's class. Just give a shh. Everybody knows what shh means, okay? I guarantee it. Now, if they keep making noise and we're going, it's not our fault. We tried what we could, okay? So try to avoid that stuff. If we go into a high school room and there's kids that we know there, my best buddy, the person I hate the most, whoever it is, we don't interact with them either. Okay? We go in, we do our stuff, and we get out as quietly as we can. I hate getting calls from teachers telling me that so-and-so did something. Okay? Our course is based on how the PC works, but all we're working on is PCs in here. But we do a ton of different things. We get really deep into some stuff. We don't get really deep into others. We will spend an enormous amount of time in the beginning here setting up PCs and hooking them up. And that is part of the course. You're going to be like, really, Mr. Poole, I've set up 20 PCs. Do you think I don't know how to do that anymore? Yeah, I know how to do it. But you still have 50 more to do. So, okay? So that's what the course is about. By the end of the course, you should know how to build one, buy one, and repair one with minimal assistance. The final exam in this class is, I come in and I pull a number out of a hat, and you get number 2, and you go over there and there's number 2, and you get broken PC number 2. I break PCs, okay? So you'll come over here and your job is to fix it. And the exam is done when you're logged on to Windows 7 or Windows XP, whatever that system has on it, and you go, oh, okay? And the other thing is you're gonna have a work order that you're gonna have to put the steps, okay? Set up PC and boot it into BIOS. BIOS screen said blah, blah, blah. Hard drive not present on BIOS screen. Reset BIOS screen to include BIOS. Still did not show up. Shut down and opened up PC. Found IDE cable disconnected on motherboard. Reconnected to IDE cable. Rebooted to BIOS and added a hard drive. PC booted normally, complete. Okay, because you get graded both on the PC and on the fact that you showed me you did the logical steps. You didn't just get lucky. Open it up, saw something disconnected, plugged it in, done. Okay? So that's what the final exam is at the end of the year. Okay? We also are going to do an exam next week, which is a final exam to show that you know nothing now, so that when you get the other exam later, you know. Okay? So it's part of the new SLOW process, student learning objectives. Okay, we have main objectives, which is I understand the parts of the PC and how they interact. That's one of our main objectives. Okay, so we're going to take a test to show what you know now, and then you're going to take a similar test, not the same test, at the end of the course to show that you learned something. That's part of the new state objectives, is that we have to give you a test showing you know nothing, and then a test showing that you know something, so we can say, look what they learned. Okay, not much. Okay, so that's what our main objective is. And there we need to understand that all the parts and how they connect to the PC, the big picture. We need to understand the individual parts and their purpose and how to replace them. We need to understand how they interact with each other so that when we go to troubleshoot, it makes sense. Okay? If you go to a PC and the write-up from the teacher says, computer won't start, well, that's not a very good write-up. What if it says, screen stays black? Okay, so I go to the PC and the screen is black. There can be a number of things for that. I mean, is the PC turning on? Is the video card good? Is the monitor good? Is the monitor cable plugged into the right thing? There's all kinds of things. But if you don't understand all the parts, you won't understand what things to at least check and try. And you will see in our work order system some very, very vague descriptions. There's a message on my screen, and it doesn't work. Okay, really? What's the message say? I mean, there's a million different messages that it's screaming to me. Okay, so we also want to understand these parts well enough to be able to buy a PC based on financial limitations. The last project is we spin a big wheel. You know, one of you is going to get $500, and one of you is going to get $3,000. And you got to buy all the parts and build a PC within those financial constraints. Okay, which you can. You can build a decent PC for $500. An awesome PC for $3,000. So that's one of the objectives as well. Okay, so we're going to have reading assignments throughout the year. We're going to have class discussions throughout the year. We're going to be supporting school systems throughout the year. We're going to be building or repairing new systems, and those are Air Force systems, so we don't actually buy new ones. And then we'll have our ongoing PC project that we've already talked about, that already built, always built on the last one. And the first project that you do, I'm going to do, right? It's called modeling, okay? So the first PowerPoint, I will do the PowerPoint. So when we do the hard, we're going to do a power supply project. Okay, I don't have one up there in the corner. Anyway, so the power supply of the PC, just so you know, when I say I'm modeling this one, don't do it. I mean, you can if you want to, but every year I get some student who goes, when am I giving my PowerPoint? And I'm like, I said I'm modeling it. I don't understand that. Modeling means I'm going to model how to do this PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm doing the PowerPoint. I put it together, and I'm going to show you the kind of PowerPoint I would like you to do when you do the next PowerPoint. That's what modeling is. Everybody got that? So when we do that one and I say I'm modeling it, it means you don't have to do it. We're going to go through it like it's an assignment. I'm going to show you what the assignment is, what the directions are, what everything, but I'm doing that to show you here's what they'll look like, and here's how we do it. So we'll get to that in a few weeks. We're going to have class exercises and discussions in here as well. Okay, we use Moodle. I put everything on Moodle. Everything will be linked in Moodle. You guys will use your tablets. The work order system is an online program that we add called SpiceWorks that's on your tablet. You'll be able to see the work orders when we get to that point as well. But everything will be posted and done through Moodle. You do self-assessments. We use online wikis. We don't use the wikis in our state data. For work order traction, we do question and answer stuff on there. We have discussion boards on there. We have writing assignments on Moodle, but everything is on Moodle. We have distributed web links, and we have skill checks all on Moodle, as well as quizzes, tests, and that kind of stuff on Moodle. Okay, and we'll be using our tablets for all those things, pretty much. I do have laptops in here, but I'm thinking about probably giving them to the graphics class so that they can use it, because graphics class is kind of tablets. I might upgrade them and take them down there, at least for the years since my class is so small this year. There's no reason for me to keep 10 nice laptops when my biggest class is 4 people. That makes me feel a little bit old. Okay, so what I expect you to bring to class, I expect you to bring your tablet, a steno notebook, and you know, really, if you don't know what a steno notebook is, I'm a steno notebook person, as you can see from a huge pile of steno notebooks. This is a steno notebook, okay? But you just need to have one. The notebook that's your hardware notebook, okay? It's just that one. I like these because they're smaller and easy to carry around. And when you guys go out in the district and do stuff, I'm going to want you to take your notebook with you too. So you do need a hardware notebook and your tablet, because you're going to have all the chapters from the textbook on your tablet, not on anywhere else. And I'll expect you to log on and check assignments. I post everything on Moodle. Everything's on the Moodle calendar. Everything's on Moodle. Have I said the word Moodle? Okay, it's all on Moodle. So when you say, I didn't know there was a test coming up, I'm like, it's been on the calendar for 3 weeks. How did you not? What chapter are we doing a test on? I hate these questions. We're doing a test today? Yeah. Okay, so check Moodle. I also I record everything and put everything on there. And if there's online reading assignments, I expect you to read them. Now, I don't assign the whole chapter. You won't ever see read chapter 1. Okay, don't do that. Because a lot of chapter 1, that textbook was out of date the minute I got it. I mean, literally, it was published, and I'm like, they don't use those hard drives anymore. They don't use that kind of memory anymore. I mean, so it'll be very read chapter 1, pages 22 through 33, or less than that. Usually my reading assignments are over 5 pages. Okay. If I give you a 5-page assignment or a web link, is more likely, or something I took and edited to be more current, it's going to take more than once to read. I can't read something on a computer article once and go, oh, got that, okay? It takes more than once. So if it's short, don't think, oh, I'll be done with this in 2 minutes. Read it 3 times, okay? If I assign a video, I really want you to watch the video, especially if it's one of my videos on how I want you to do something. I had a couple kids last year that are not in my tech class this year because they just kind of skipped over the videos. Why? I spent a lot of time making that video. Why did I make that video? Because I actually wanted you to know what was in the video. And then they go out and they set up the PCs, and the PCs would be set up wrong. Okay? And I'm like, it said how to do it in the video. I didn't watch the video. Well, that was the point of making the video. Okay? We're going to do some flipped classes in here occasionally. You guys done any flipped classes yet? Where the teacher says, watch this video, we'll do it tomorrow? Sort of flipped classes, okay? So you guys will get video assignments that it's to watch at night. Watch this 5 minutes. Most of them are going to be 5 minutes or less. It might be 10 minutes. But if that's the longest thing I could give for homework is to watch a 10-minute video, hopefully you'll watch it. If you don't have Wi-Fi at home, you download the video using, have you guys used TubeMate yet at school? Okay, so TubeMate lets you go to a YouTube video and download it right to your tablet. So if you don't have Wi-Fi at home, it's on your tablet. You can watch it on your tablet. That's all it is. It's pretty easy. And I'll show you how to use that. So if you know, you don't, maybe I'll have you show. So that it's really simple to download. You can use it to download any YouTube video directly to your tablet. So if a teacher assigns a YouTube video, you can just go to it, and it actually downloads and watches faster than TubeMate than it does watching it to YouTube. It just downloads like that. I've got 40-minute videos that downloaded in a minute, and then it never ratchets, and you're watching it right off your tablet. So I think it's a better way to do it. So we're going to have video assignments as well. Reading assignments, and I already said that I'm going to have limited ones. They're all based on the ICANN list. Every single chapter that we have has an ICANN list in it. So, for instance, down here on chapter 4, it says ICANN. Everything is based on those 9 ICANNs, okay? If you take a test and I ask you a question that's not linked to one of these ICANNs, you are allowed to contest that question, not during the test, but after the test, okay? When we go over the test, we'll go over every test right afterwards. Ms. Fool, this question is not linked to any one of those ICANN statements. And I either have to say, yeah, it's 4-5, I was specifically asking what L2 cache that processor had. And you go, oh, I didn't understand the question. Or, you're right, you know what, that's not one of the ICANNs, and I'll give you credit for the question, okay? Because the idea with all these ICANNs and every single one of the chapters on Moodle is, you should read these first and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to get out of this chapter. This is what I'm on the motherboard. Okay, so I should be able to look at the motherboard and know the basic parts. Because you're going to have a question. I'm going to have a question on that chapter that has a picture of the motherboard on it with numbered lists, okay? And it's going to say, match the part with the thing, okay? So it's going to point these white ones, and and if you don't know those are PCI slots, you're going to get it wrong, okay? Because by the time I'm done with the motherboard, I should be able to just look at this and know, that's processor, that's memory, that's a AGP slot, that's a PCI slot, there's the north bridge, there's the south bridge. There's the 2 IDE connections, there's the SATA connections, there's my floppy drive connection, FTD connection, there's my P1 power plug. You should be able to do that when we're done. Okay, so that's what number 1 is saying. I can look at the motherboard and I know all those parts just from looking at it. Okay, so anyways, so those are what the ICANNs are for, is to kind of guide you in your reading to know what you should be covering. If it's not covered by an ICANN, I don't think it's important enough to test. There are tons of stuff in that textbook that is on the A+ hardware certification. And if you didn't know, this class is actually called A+ hardware, Guide to A+ hardware. Okay, that's what the textbook is. A+ hardware is a Microsoft exam that you can get a certification in. You can pay Microsoft to take the test. You pass the test, you get an A+ hardware certification. And it can get you a tech job. Okay, not a high-paying tech job, but a tech job. Nonetheless, there's a lot of stuff in there that's ridiculous. There's no reason you need to know what IRQs are. I'll never mention IRQs again. I'm done saying the word IRQ. I won't say it again. Okay? Because you don't need to know it anymore. That's stuff that we did 25 years ago when we added a component into a motherboard. You don't need to know it. It's still in there on how to go through and figure out. I'm not going to say the acronyms in here. See? I'm not going to say it again. So there's stuff that if it's not important, I didn't put it on ICANN and I'm not going to test you on it. Okay? Because I really wanted to emphasize the stuff that was important. So the things that I do ask you to read, I ask you to read them. We'll have computer articles that I read more likely than the textbook. We'll do periodical reviews from time to time. In other words, I'll say, I want you to read this article and tell me what you thought the target audience is and what you got out of it. Or I'll ask you some questions to read out of the article to make you think analytically as you're reading through the article. And we use MLA for everything, okay? I'm not using it, but why? What's it saying on the control? But one of the things, and we're going to talk about this next class, but it's bad for teachers to connect up stuff. Okay, one of the things that will frequently happen at the beginning of the school year is the network goes down, and the network goes down because people don't know how to hook things up right. Okay, so in all the rooms we have these, there's switches, and I'm going to talk about this next class. But what a switch does is it takes the signaling from one port and puts it out on all the other ones. Okay, it's like a Y adapter thing, but like that. The problem is that if I have a cable coming out here and it doesn't go to a PC and it comes back in here, it'll take down the entire network. Okay, because it's sending out that information and then it's coming back in. Well, it's new information. It's not smart. It's dumb. Okay, so it sends it out again. It's sending out through here, and now it's coming back in through here, and it just keeps looping and causing what's called a feedback loop, and it just sends out tons of information really, 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 really fast, and the network goes, thank you, and it dies. So that happens from time. I haven't seen the. Has the light gone off, Garrett? I mean, is the light blinking or anything like that? No.
What light? I don't know. I'm not going to this class, but
We're looking at the window. Whose class is it happening at?
I think it's 208. It's the one that's I was connected to.
I don't know. Connected to it. So that happens a lot. And there's, when we talk about connecting up stuff, I'll explain some things that everyone does that cause the problem. So anyways, we use my MLA citations for everything, including PowerPoints. I'll expect you to have the works cited on everything and give credit appropriately. It's kind of to teach you how to do things right. There's no reason to ever get caught plagiarizing. All you have to do is give credit, and it's not plagiarizing. Okay? We do quizzes and tests all on Moodle, and as many as possible are practical. We do practical assignments as well. And I already went over my summative retake policy. Hopefully everybody's fairly proficient using Moodle. You guys all went through Mr. Studebaker's class by now, right? So you guys used Moodle a lot with him. So in the beginning there was some people who didn't really understand because not everybody was using it, but everybody should be using it by now. Okay, I expect you to do your best job at everything. That the district depends on you, and I already said this. I graded it as a how do we back to the slide? This is the exact same slide I went through before. Okay, almost done. Oh, good. Woo. I expect you to learn. That's why in research projects I don't answer questions. I say Google it. You don't have to use Google. You could use something else. You could Bing it. I hate Bing, but you could Bing it if you wanted to, or whatever. Hopefully you'll learn how to get some skills to use in the real world and later in life, and hopefully you really enjoy the class by the end. Okay, we have very few days like this where I'm just talking at you for the whole period. Okay, maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 am I doing a lecture-based class. Okay, most of the time it is not like that at all. But when we get to new material, I'm going to obviously go over new material, and then we're going to try to learn this stuff in class. So I expect you to respect each other, don't touch each other's stuff, respect the school, classes, teachers, and our facilities. Class rules, water's okay, this is a school rule, nothing but water up here, okay? But not while we're working inside a PC. I've had this happen more than once, and I know this isn't a cup. I've had this happen more than once where a student's holding his water bottle and goes like this to look inside the PC. It's really bad. Water bottles are really bad on a PC. So when we're not doing stuff internally, you can have a water bottle up here that you can drink if you want to. Okay, we have to sign up whenever we leave class, even if I told you where to go. I already said that because I forget. Cleanup always begins 5 minutes before the end of the class, even if I've forgotten to tell you. So if we're sitting here working in a PC and you see that we got 5 minutes of class left, Mr. Poole, we only got 5 minutes of class yet. We need to clean up. Okay, yeah, we need to clean up. Ask me what we want to put away. I may say leave the monitors and keyboards out for next block, but get your PC all cleaned up. Okay. When we're at the other schools, we're not going to hear any bells. You got to pay attention. For over in the elementary school setting up PCs, you're not going to hear any bell tell you the first block is over. So watch the clocks and have a good idea. We want to be headed back over here no later than 5 minutes before the end of class because I don't want you late to class. If we're using the laptops, always log off, shut down. We'll reset, start them when we're done, depending on what we're doing, but we're going to use the tablets all the time. Okay? Stay out of the back rooms and closets unless specifically requested to. That's what I'm talking about over there. That's the back room. We don't need to be in the closet over there. These parts closets, you're going to learn where everything is eventually, but don't touch parts unless you're asked to, and that includes stuff that's sitting here. Okay? If this is sitting here when you come into class, you're more than welcome to look at it with your eyeballs. But it might be, now this one isn't, but it might be a perfectly good motherboard. And if you start grabbing it like this, it's not a perfectly good motherboard anymore. Okay? Do you know how many volts you can displace before you even know it when you touch something? 3,000. You can displace 3,000 volts without knowing it. Okay? It's not until 3,000 you get that little spark, that little zap. You know, when you do this, you go get your sister. Okay? If you put 2,500 volts in that motherboard, it's ruined. You don't even know. So don't touch stuff. Unless I say, hey, that's one of you guys are going to pass around, you can touch it all you want to. Okay? There's always somebody who does that. Okay, stay up from behind my desk and out of my chair. That's in bold. Makes me unhappy. I might go bipolar on you. Okay, so I don't ever expect to see my chair, my desk out here. Okay, because I'm logged on to stuff and I have access to stuff. This is your boundary zone. Don't go past here unless I ask you to. Right here. Right here. Everybody got that? Bad. Good. Bipolar, Mr. Poole, what are you doing behind my desk? Oh, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing behind my desk? Okay, don't do that. Okay, I get upset. I have not broken. I have had 2 chairs broken in the 9 years I've been here, and they've never been broken while I've been here. Okay? I come out, I have the back broken off one, so even if I'm not here, my chair stays back there in case that happens. Okay. No games on the computers, emails for class use only, music only during independent work time, and this is talking about tablets as well. Okay, if I walk around and you're playing a game on your tablet, I will take your tablet, I'll take it over there, and I will reflash it and wipe it. Okay? And by the way, if you didn't watch the video yet, you're not allowed to add any games to your tablets this year. Because all the ones I had reflashed is that. Those are supposed to be educational devices, not my new toy. Now, am I going to know if you did it at home? No, not until I have to reflash it because you screwed it up, okay? I have no problem with you putting music on your tablet. And it says Pandora, but I have Pandora blocked for the tablets right now because we just had too much bandwidth last year. No YouTube unless you're using it for class projects or when you're supposed to be watching. I have one student that wasn't allowed to move on to my advanced tech class and still trying to. And every single time I walked around the room, he was watching a YouTube video. Never was watching the one that he was supposed to be watching. So that tends to annoy me. Okay, let's talk about emergencies and then we're done with the PowerPoint. We have fire drill, we're going out down that way, down the stairs, outside, meeting in a line, you're in charge. You're taking attendance. Okay. Why me? I don't know. I pointed at you first, you were in an Air Force shirt, I was in the Air Force, so made you in charge. Okay, so make sure he gets there with you. If we have a tornado, we're going downstairs to the choir room.
So basically doing device system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Out and down, and for a tornado, we're going downstairs into the choir room. That's where we're going for emergencies. Any questions on emergencies? Okay. Shoo! Okay, we're going to go over the Moodle site, just so you guys know my Moodle site. In fact, let me switch it to student. By the way, there's tons of stuff already down here. You can see all those chapters that are on there that are just, they're all hidden. So you guys, oh, I'm in hardware. I'm not in the new one. That's why. It's even there. There we go. Okay, so there's a bunch more down there that you can't see. This is the stuff that is open right now. So all of these, you guys don't have tablets yet, do you? Okay. So all of the chapters are set up the same way. They have an I can section at the beginning. Okay, so at the beginning, end of today, I should be able to explain the emergency procedures to a classmate. I explain the classroom rules to the classmate, and I explain to the classmate how the middle course works. That's our objectives for today. Okay, and then each section has a self-assessment. And I'm going to ask you, when you walk to the board, it's going to say retake the chapter 2 self-assessment. I'm going to ask you to retake it a bunch of times. And what it is it's a survey. And so you're just going to click answer the questions like this. Okay. Do you understand the emergency procedures in class? Yes. Do you understand you must always sign up for the classroom unless being accompanied by a pool? Yes. Do you understand that cell phones are never put in my classroom and they may never be out on or off? Do you understand that? Don't have cell phone out. Cell phones. No, you're not supposed to have them in the hallway either. But you're allowed to in lunchtime. Okay. So do you understand that you must work quietly in occupied classrooms and move quietly through the halls? Okay, yes, I got that now, Mr. Cole. This is what all the self-assessments are like. Basically, it's questions over the I-cans and whether you got it. You're allowed to say no. Okay? So if you go and say, do you understand you can convert to another? I didn't understand that. Okay, well, obviously you should. But in the actual chapters, there's going to be stuff over the chapter material. I expect the first time you take it to say no. I don't understand anything on the power supply. Okay? Because the idea is that every time you retake that, you change the question, the answers, so that by the time you take the test, maybe there's only one, there's only one no, and it's I don't understand how to use the online power supply calculate to calculate the wattage of a gamer PC. Okay? That one. So I know that I gotta go over that, because what I don't want to do is to reteach everything before every test. I want to teach what you guys say you don't know. So that before we take the test, we'll review it, but that's the whole idea. So you're going to go through and say, yes, I understand the classroom rules, and have you ever used Moodle before? So you're going to when you get your tablet, we're going to go through and you're going to do all this so I know that you know this stuff, okay? And then you say submit, and then as the teacher, I will be able to let me return to me. And as the teacher, when I go to the self-assessments, I'll be able to just go and see, okay, everybody understands that stuff. I didn't answer all of them, obviously, because I'm going to delete my responses here in a second. The idea there is that I know what you think you know before we take the test. Because if you say I don't know how to do something, I really want to review it before we take the test. But if you know it, why would I waste my time? Or your time? We'll move on, okay? So that's what those self-assessments are, and when I say, so they're always like that at the top. They always have a self-assessment, so you can see we're going to go over this stuff. Next class, you're going to have the I-cans, you're going to do a self-assessment, there's some reading here, there's quiz and test later on, there's a YouTube, and I have, every single one of the classes has a YouTube playlist for that chapter at the bottom. Which then, if you open it up, these are the ones that were over chapter 1, any of the videos that I uploaded, okay? But I'm also going to, this year, like I said, link them into the calendar so that you'll know on the 21st, if you say, I missed that day, you'll be able to go directly to the video. I thought that would be a little bit easier to find them. But all of them have, every chapter has a playlist at the bottom that you can go and review, and it has all the ones from previous years too. I haven't deleted any. So if you were so inclined, you could get ahead and you can actually watch one early. If you were bored one night and wanted to watch, where do we go tomorrow? So over on the left-hand side is the course syllabus, and one of the requirements this year is that everyone has to have the course syllabus for your classes downloaded to your tablet, and you're supposed to show your parents that you have a course syllabus, okay? And you can go over it with them if you'd like to. So this goes over kind of everything I went over already. It talks about the class objectives, what the course is, what the content is, what we did, how we do assignments, how I grade, 10% formative, 90% summative. My late policy, I do take stuff late, but I do take off for it being late, but you're gonna have to do it no matter what. And you will never get a failing grade because it's late, okay? So even if I take off, I'm not gonna turn it into an F for being late, okay? So even if you did, but I also don't take stuff and follow a quarter. So once I turn in the quarter grade, the quarter's in. You can't say, oh, can I do that PowerPoint from first semester now? Okay? And that's because what happens at the end, all of a sudden some students realize their grade's so low they're not going to be able to get into tech, and they decide at the last minute they want to get in tech, and then they ask if they can do stuff from first and second quarter.
really.
And then it talks about the retake policy, the classroom rules for electronic devices, no cheating, no plagiarism, and lastly it gives this is the course flow and what subjects we're going to go over with. Okay? And classes. I'll see you guys on Friday. Friday? Stay Wednesday? Friday. I'll see you on Friday. Okay. There might be more people coming, by the way. There's usually class changes.